Hello, everybody. This is Ted again with the countdowntogeeks.com. I have an incredible interview for you guys. Joining me is multi Academy Award nominated, Emmy Award winning, just all around fantastic individual star of the film Killing Faith, Guy Pearce. Guy, how are you?
I'm very good, mate. How are you? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing fantastic. I heard you're a musician, but nobody told me you owned a studio. That is impressive behind you.
Yes, this is my little pad here in the Netherlands. I had a really good studio in Melbourne, and I had to sell my house and sell all my stuff, so sell my studio. So I brought all my stuff over here instead. So I've got it jammed into this rather small converted garage, but it does the job. So I'm very happy in here.
I should probably bring up this movie you're in, Killing Faith, which is,
Yeah.
if you're not careful, they're going to start typecasting you into westerns all the time. This is your third or fourth western now. Tell us about what really sparked an interest with this script for you.
Well, it was a number of things, really. I mean, first and foremost, I found Ned's film that I'd seen before really engaging and sort of violent and humorous. And I thought this script inhabited a similar kind of quality. And then in talking to Ned, he just has a great outlook on life. And, he was very engaging, and it's sort of there's something sort of quite original about him, even though I guess you could say he has a similar quality to the Coen brothers.
Mm.
Um, where the extremities of what's happening to people is very vivid on screen and visceral and really powerful, but there's nothing sort of sentimental about it. He's got a great kind of almost cold way of looking at the world, which can be kind of funny. So just that as a whole, I was really drawn to, and in talking with Ned, I really enjoyed him, and I just loved the character. I thought the character had lots of great extreme qualities going on that I found interesting, and the fact that it's a west. I mean, I guess it is a western. There's no real. I suppose there's cowboys, but um, yeah, I just felt like there was just a couple of misfits stuck out in the desert, so which I quite like. Yeah.
I like that you bring up Ned's sort of humor because yeah, there was a bit of a charm to this movie. The humor in it was sort of subdued, but it was clearly evident. So I really appreciated that part.
Yeah.
Steelbender, your character, what was your approach to finding the essence of this individual?
Well, I mean, it was pretty clear on the page. I didn't have to do much to find him really. I mean, I got a real sense of his own internal struggle. He's someone who's berating himself over his own past and losing his child, and he's got great trauma that he wakes up to every day, that he feels guilty about and wants to redeem himself, but at the same time he just wants to kind of he's somewhat ambivalent about it at times. So you never kind of get a grip on who he really is, and what if he's ambitious, or if he just wants to die, or what does he really even want in life. And yet there's a great energy about him. So even that sort of feeling of nothingness that he sort of has, as well as this internal fire, those two things working together kind of just made for an interesting fucked up character. Like he's just a weird sort of dude, and weird in where he's got to in the world. And I'm always fascinated in characters, and not just who they are essentially, but who they are now because of where they've got to in the world.
Mm.
The series of events that has led them to where they are now, and how they are dealing with where they are now. Where they kind of go, I have regret and I wish I could go back 10 years and change my life. And that I think is a very palpable and sad and sort of, very real thing for a lot of us in the world. We kind of go, how did I get to where I'm at? And why is my life not working out the way I wanted? And what do I do about it? And does anyone care? Is it better if I just disappear off this planet? So there's sort of, yeah, quite existential questions that I think live inside of this Steelbender character. And they were all very clear to me. So it was just stuff I talked through with Ned, and, felt I had a good sense of him. Yeah.
This film, a lot of independent films that I review and I watch, seen a lot of westerns, and usually there's not a lot of finance or support to help make the shooting schedules and the scenes very convenient for either the crew or the cast. And it looks like you guys are really out there in the elements, up and down rough terrain and hills and everything. Was it as challenging as it looked to us?
Well, yeah, there were a few things that were challenging, but never as bad as it looks on screen. And but at the same time, I'm in my 50s now, so climbing up and down rocky cliffs is harder than it was when I was 25. Um, Especially if I hurt myself, because the injuries seem to last a lot longer now than they did 20 years ago.
That's what they say.
Um, yeah, so but I'm up for that stuff. I quite like a bit of stunt work and chucking myself around, and I think it's also I like it because it's part of what it is the character is doing. So I like to sort of experience that as well, and get knocked about a bit, because if the character's getting knocked about a bit, you want to feel it to a degree, not
Absolutely.
necessarily completely, but to a degree, yeah.
I must have you say something fantastic about your cast. I'm a huge fan of Jax. I'm a huge fan of Bill Pullman. DeWanda Wise is incredible in this role. Just talk to us about this ensemble you guys have put together.
Yeah, that was a really special part of it. I mean, Dewanda and I got on very, very well, and I you never know when you start a film what people are going to be like, and you're kind of always nervous that about people's egos or their moods or whatever, and people are probably nervous about my moods as well, quite rightly so. But once Dewanda and I clicked, which
Mm,
was pretty early on. And I was like, wow, you're fantastic. And she said, you're fantastic. I went, great. We're going to have a good time together. And she's just a smart lady, very cool. I really enjoyed being around her. Really, yeah, she's just divine. And Ned, I think, that putting a good cast together is part of the director's job, and putting together a group of actors who get on well. And Bill Pullman was also a really sweet, sweet, sweet man. So, and great sense of humor. I think that was the thing. Everyone sort of tapped into the sense of humor of this film. So
mm.
that was obviously something Ned responded to when he met different actors, whether they connected to that humor. And so we therefore all had a similar sense of humor. Little Emily, of course, was fascinating little girl. Probably not aware of the sense of humor that was really going on as much as the rest of us, but she was still a special kid. And then Jack's just brilliant, really brilliant actor. And so, it was a good bunch of people.
I have one last comment, not a question for you. My first job in high school was working at a movie theater megaplex back in 2001. And this tiny little film came out with this very unknown director. The movie was called Memento. And for the first time, I think I had been introduced to what an independent film was. And I was blown away. I had gone through an experience I had not felt ever before. And it really opened my world to other films that were out there. I was so used to just the mainstream stuff that was playing every single weekend. So I want to really thank you because it was truly a remarkable experience. And I know Memento turns 25 next summer. So I don't know if you have fond memories of being a part of that project with Chris Nolan, but
Ah, yeah. I mean, it's thank you for saying that. I mean, I thank Chris and the film as much as you're thanking me, because I was invited to join that movie, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, really. I mean, to work with Chris Nolan is a very special experience anyway, and to work on his first American film, um, and one that is, I mean, all his films are brilliant, but one I think that it changed sort of filmmaking.
mm,
It's funny because someone said to me once, they said, "Oh, LA Confidential was the last film of its kind, and you know that Memento was the first film of its kind."
oh,
And they said, "You're in both of them." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, okay." And I suppose in a way it's true, that there were a lot of kind of copies of, not copies of Memento, but you could see that there were shifts in filmmaking style after Memento. Chris Nolan came along and reinvented the wheel. So to be part of that was a great honor. And I wish I liked my performance more in that film, I have to say. And I'm not just saying that to be, self-deprecating. I saw it recently and went, oh, Oh, I wish I was better in that film. The film's really good, and I don't want to be the weak link that brings brings that film down. So I that's my only slightly negative feeling about that movie. But at least it's about me and not about anyone else.
Well, regardless, happy early anniversary. Also, happy early birthday. I know you're celebrating one on Sunday.
Thank you
I'll
very
be
much.
celebrating mine on Saturday. And if you want to help Guy celebrate his birthday, go watch Killing Faith this weekend. Opens on October 3rd in select theaters. Go check it out. Guy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. This has
Well,
been absolute honor.
well, thank you, Ted. It's great to talk to you, and happy birthday to you on the 4th of October.
Appreciate it.